Hello everybody and welcome back to Off the Shelf Reviews Sequential Saturdays. We're still here in the Nam 67.
Yeah, man. How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit?
You stole that shit, Private.
Have I made that joke before?
No, I think it's the first time.
Oh, okay.
Hey everybody, I'm Ian.
I'm Gary. And yeah, we are still stuck in the Nam.
Yeah.
I think it's part 7, Ian. How many parts is this game? We break it up into YouTube parts now.
I think there's like 12 missions for this game.
Okay. So you're making good progress.
Yeah, got a few missions left. Totally missed what the lieutenant was telling me then, because you were talking to me, but that's fine. I just go out there and I kill everybody.
Well, I think you're in a friendly camp right now.
Yeah,
so
I'm in a friendly camp.
Killing everybody is probably a no-go.
I'm gotta go get my gun from Deuce, because in a previous episode I bought a rocket pistol.
A rocket pistol?
Yes, and then we went on to a mission and I totally forgot I had it. And well, or I didn't buy it because it wasn't saved properly, but you know.
Oh, okay.
So I could have spent my money on getting some more poontang from Mama-san, but I think I'll buy the rocket pistol instead.
Yeah, I think rocket pistol. I want to see this rocket pistol.
It's a pistol that fires rockets.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to see this in action.
Okay, there's the rocket pistol.
Man, if you want to look at it, you should try to keep one eye closed.
Keep one eye closed? Okay, I'm gonna buy it.
Being greedy, man. You already got one.
Oh, I've already got one. Oh, okay, fine.
So,
Can I buy some ammo then?
what's with the ladies down there?
Those are postcards.
Oh, okay.
On the menu before you go into the game, it says about just looking at some pictures.
Right.
They're kind of just like little computer graphic women wearing.
From the era of...
Yeah, from 67. They're mainly Vietnamese women holding
Okay.
guns and stuff.
Oh.
Spink, do I have to go this way?
Give it up, soldier. You're never getting through this gate.
Oh, okay then. Okay, so I'm not going through that gate.
Because that one guard is preventing you.
Yeah,
Compared
like-
to everything you've just been through, that one guard's like, nope.
Yeah, it's just like, you can't kill me. Take the helicopter. There we go.
Can't you just take that mounted M60 right there?
What, like Monty's got there,
like
right there.
here, yeah.
Kulong River.
I mean, he's got the best job right
yeah,
there.
he's just nailing people.
I've always wanted to fire one of those guns. It's got to be mounted, of course. I just want to pull the triggers and just.
Just let. I
just want to shoot at targets.
I love the fact that they're still running. They're just like, oh, I've just seen my buddy die, so I'm going to run this side. And I'm dead as well. It's just like, stop running at the gun. Wait until it passes, then shoot it in the back. Rear armor. That's.
Yeah, but adrenaline kicks in. They've all done their war charge. And it's like, yeah.
Okay, man, we're gonna have to hustle.
Destroy the NVA base. Okay.
So I just want to pick up a conversation from last Saturday.
Yes.
And that was, I was talking an awful lot about Deadpool.
Yes.
And
yes.
I remember I mentioned that there's very few films that I go to the cinema twice to see.
Yes.
For instance, Guardians of the Galaxy I did twice. I actually went for a second screening of Deadpool.
I'm not surprised.
And did you know that it's become one of the most highest grossing superhero movies of all time?
Yeah, I have read some of
It
this stuff
squashed
online.
Batman.
Yeah.
It demolished Spider-Man. It absolutely embarrassed the Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man.
Yeah.
Deadpool is just... it's unbelievable. But I have to say, on a second viewing,
Yeah.
the cinema was still full. It was still the largest screen in the building. But the reactions to it were not as great as the midnight release of it.
Right. Yeah.
And so some of the jokes in the screen fell a bit flat. Like, there was hardly a murmur of laughter. And I was like, oh, well, I was still sat there chuckling away. But I will say, I mean, watching it within a week of the same time,
Yeah.
it did have a lesser impact than the first time viewing it. And some of it did seem a little bit flat in places now.
Yeah.
And so I would kind of like to retract that it's almost as fun as Guardians of the Galaxy, because Guardians of the Galaxy was just a great ride on the second time. So Deadpool, not so great on the second viewing,
Yeah.
I will say. So,
Well, this is it. You have to space these films out.
absolutely. You
like you
usually
said,
watch
you
it
get
a year in between, not
you go to see it
4
again,
days. Yeah.
and you never know that the people that you're in the cinema with are just like you and come to watch it a second time.
But it also went to show me how much of the, I might have enjoyed it the second time more if the cinema was as responsive to it the second time as everyone was on the midnight screening.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that sort of group mentality in the theater room
Yeah.
can impact your enjoyment on the film too.
Yeah.
It's like watching something and the person next to you doesn't enjoy it. It's not long before you stop enjoying it too.
Yeah.
And you end up switching up. So it was that. I was thinking it might have been that mentality. So it's just an interesting psychological experiment, really.
Yeah, well, that's like I said. You should never rush out and watch it a second time because
Yeah.
you know, give it 6 months. Let the jokes come back, and you'll be like, ah. But watching a movie a second time, you've already seen the jokes, like you said, and you're already looking for stuff. that
Yeah,
you
you're
missed
looking for extra stuff.
missed the first time, which can distract you from originally what you're trying to watch.
Yeah.
Grenade up.
But you know, I also didn't really put this connection forward either, but for Deadpool,
Yeah.
it was interesting that it's a love story.
Yes.
And it's not... But, you know, I mean, it's like, so what are they going to do for the next Deadpool movie? Because, I mean, from most of the Deadpool stuff that I'm aware of, he never really had a girlfriend or... I mean, they've done the whole, like I mentioned before, they've done the whole Spawn thing, where he becomes hideous to look at and leaves, you know, Wanda, I think his wife was called.
In Spawn, yeah.
And leaves her behind. And it's kind of the same thing that happened with Deadpool, but it turned into the whole love story. And, you know, Deadpool actually turns to the camera near the beginning and says, yeah, this is a love story. And it's like, did they just time that right then for Valentine's Day? Is that why it did so well?
Possibly, yeah. It's
Because all the other superhero movies are, superhero and supervillain, you know.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need to know. I mean, I guess Iron Man did the whole post-traumatic stress, you know, with the whole Avengers thing, and, you know, but I guess, romance for a superhero movie, it was an interesting angle, and it does work.
It's a new concept.
I was just thinking that maybe that has something to do with its success.
Heavy gun down there. I'm not going to go that way.
But of course, I mean, I got bombarded this last week or so in the cinema with movie trailers.
Yeah.
And there are some interesting superhero films lined up. I don't know if I've asked you yet what your thoughts are on X-Men Apocalypse that's around the corner.
I'm looking forward to it, but I don't hold much reservations for it, mainly because I've seen the other X-Men movies, and they...
Oh, which one's your favourite?
What, out
of all of the X-Men films so far?
Out of all the X-Men films, I was a bit of a fan of X-Men 2.
Yeah. Was that because of Beast, or what was it? What was it that you liked about that one?
I liked... Oh, shit, he's up there. I liked the fact that in X-Men 2, they kind of expanded the story of Wolverine.
Yeah.
And obviously they brought in Stryker.
Yeah.
They expanded a few of the mutants themselves in the Institute. And the fact that they ended it with Jean Grey becoming the Phoenix, which, you know...
It was a huge plot line of...
Yeah. And I love the way of what they were planning on doing with that. And then obviously they went with X-Men Last Stand, which became a bit of a farce, really. Yeah. I suppose that was my favourite, but then at the same time, as the films have ticked on, you know, I want
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, Days of Future Past was really good. But... that was coming off the back of First Class, which is obviously changing a lot of things that we already knew about the X-Men, and so it's generally just start to get a bit confusing with me of what are they doing, where are they coming from, what comics are they copying, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I try to keep them all separate and not actually see them as a series.
Well, I mean, it's easy enough to do both. I found, you know, treat each one as a standalone film, and, you know, in the grander scheme of the universe that 20th Century Fox is building with the Marvel brand of the X-Men.
But I'm just like, give it back to Marvel. Let Marvel have it back. Let them be able to interact.
Well, I don't know, with the fact that 20th Century Fox has just made all that money with Deadpool compared to all the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they're going to be giving up the rights to these characters anytime soon.
And they shouldn't. But learn the lesson from Deadpool. You know, learn that you did well because you decided to do something different.
Yeah.
You know,
brave as well, considering it was a 15 or expected to be an 18 rated film.
Well, that's it. You know, make it vicious, like with Apocalypse.
You know that's going to be a PG movie, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want it to be a PG movie because it's supposed to involve the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
You know, and
But it's still going to be PG friendly.
you want to see.
And we've already seen from the trailers with, the entire cityscapes being torn up.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's a very nice special effect.
Damn heavy gun. But that's the issue. It's like a lot of times you have that problem with films is cities get blown up, but nobody's really hurt. You know, nobody's really hurt. We're all fine. And it's like, oh.
It's like I had that problem with the Avengers, and there's like the amount of people that Ultron's killing left, right, and center, and you don't really see any of it.
Yeah, you don't really see any of it. It's supposed to be, like I said, the new one is supposed to be the Age of Apocalypse, which.
And so we're seeing in the trailers all these buildings and cars and bridges being torn to pieces, and it's like, yeah, they're all empty.
Yeah,
there's no
they're
one
all
in any
empty.
of those cars.
Everyone's managed to get away because we don't want to scare the kids. And it's just like, oh, okay, then that's just taking away the whole fantasy element of it.
Yeah, I see that.
Keep on moving!
Oh, Jesus, sniper up there. Come here, you little.
So what are your thoughts on the new Batman, Superman?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
You interested in the new trailer?
Batman vs Superman?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
What do you think of Lex Luthor?
I am interested.
Yeah?
I'm interested mainly because,
Do you not think he comes across as like a pompous dillweed?
it's Lex Luthor. You're supposed to.
Yeah, but he just kind of, he doesn't seem to have
Who
the
is it?
air of
Is
authority.
it Jesse Eisenberg?
Yeah.
And
So he doesn't seem
he-
to have the air of,
Was he the-
wisdom and, I don't know. He's just not Lex Luthor for me. I know he's like a young Lex Luthor.
Was Jesse Eisenberg the one from Social Network?
Yes,
Yeah, and was he Zombieland and Superbad, or was there somebody else in
Yeah, that was him, yeah.
Hey, come on!
Because
No, that was the other guy. No. It gets confusing.
it does. I get confused between the two of them. They look a lot alike to me.
Yeah.
But see the guy in Social Network, I felt was a bit of a dick anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the way he comes across to me.
Well, I mean, that was the part he was playing,
Yeah.
which he did very well, but it's...
But like with Lex Luthor, it's Lex Luthor's supposed to be like that.
Who's your favourite?
Gene Hackman was a bit of a dick anyway,
Yeah.
and it worked for him.
Yeah.
I did like Kevin Spacey in Superman Returns.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people
Yeah.
complain about the film.
Well, he's got one of the most cut-to clips of all time, isn't he?
Yeah. Wrong. Yeah. Can't stand still. So for me, Lex Luthor is a very difficult character to portray because he's going up against an immortal god, basically.
Yeah.
So he's got to have something that immortal god doesn't have, which is far superior intelligence, which along with that comes with a ego.
Yeah. I, of course, like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, but I'll tell you who actually did become my favourite Lex Luthor, even though I never followed it all the way through.
Who's that?
From Smallville.
Oh god, I fucking hate that series.
I stuck with it for longer than I ever should have done, but I never made it to the end. But he was a fantastic Lex Luthor. He was a great actor in that show, and I actually liked the interesting dynamic between Lex and his father.
Yeah.
It was, how Lex would become. I was more interested in how Lex would become Lex than Clark became Superman.
Yeah,
in
well,
that
it's kind
show.
of obvious how Clark became Superman.
Yeah.
Hey, come on!
Nailing people now. Going hunting with my sniper rifle. But I never got into Smallville because it was Dawson's Creek with Superman.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time, I'd been watching Buffy and watching Angel and
Yeah.
watching all these other things, and the thing that killed Smallville for me was way, way too many Monster of the Week episodes.
Yeah, they were trying to do a Buffy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Buffy was trying to pave the way for serialized television, and it was one of the first ones to do it ever.
Yeah.
And because the networks fought tooth and nail against Joss Whedon, going, no, you can't do overarching storylines because people will tune in and not know what happened last week. You can't do that. So different monster each week, and and that was a constant battle for so many TV shows. But Buffy was one of the first ones to go, no, we're gonna have a story arc and a season arc, and this is what's gonna happen over it. And more and more, that the way we watch television totally changed.
Yeah.
And so Smallville had that problem though, where they tried to incorporate overarching storylines, but
shit.
it just didn't work.
Because
For me it was the the X-Files treatment, where again X-Files always wanted some overarching storylines, but they could never get into it. It was a Monster of the Week.
But the thing I found is that with those kind of TV shows, anybody was open to die. You know, Buffy died so many times. Angel became evil. In X-Files, Mulder and Scully had all their little personal things.
Well, Mulder ended up disappearing. They got
Yeah.
replaced with another.
That's it.
Agent Doggett.
They
I think, or
completely
Doggett. I can't remember what he was called.
changed the characters.
Yeah.
With Smallville, it didn't work like that because I'm like, he's Superman. He's going to save the day. He always saves the day.
Granted he does, but it's Superman without all of his powers.
It's kind of like at the moment what they're doing with Gotham. It's like, oh, we've got this series building up all the characters of Gotham, and I'm like, oh, okay then, how's this going to end? That little rich kid is going to come back and beat the shit out of all of them and put them in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So the building up all these characters, in my mind, is kind of useless because they're only just going to get beaten by Batman anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is he dead?
But but at least with Gotham, what's always was interesting. We've said this before. What's always the most interesting thing about the Batman universe is the villains, and so I mean that's why they're getting their own movie later this year.
Yeah.
So
I like that aspect. Keep Batman out of it for a short while.
yeah.
God damn! Why are you guys spawning? Just nailing you left and right now.
So I did also see another interesting movie in the theaters earlier.
Yeah.
The Hateful Eight. Quentin Tarantino's 8th cinematic movie.
Yeah.
My God. It was wonderful. It was a true cinematic experience. I really want to review it. I really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to say that it's one of the best westerns ever made. It really was just... It really was good. Kurt Russell, so great to see him in a return performance to this big screen.
Yeah, and but once again, I mean, it's his homage to westerns.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so saying it's one of the greatest westerns ever made means that you must have a long list of really great westerns that it does manage to beat.
Yeah.
But there are so many.
You know, I got told an interesting tidbit about the film just the other day. That there's a scene in the film where the couple of characters are playing guitars.
Yeah.
And Tarantino went to a museum, essentially, or this place where they kept this very old guitar from the time period that the film's set in.
Yeah.
And in the film, the guitar gets smashed to pieces.
Oh.
Tarantino used the actual one from the museum, smashed it to pieces. And so now that museum has decided never to loan out any of its artifacts or things to any movie set ever again.
Well, yeah.
It's like,
shouldn't.
It's a pretty expensive, one take on this scene.
Guys, hiding that bush. Yeah, kill that motherfucker. Yeah, I'm trying to get to this NVA base at the moment. There's fucking NVA all over the place.
So Ian, I've been asked this multiple times over the last few weeks. Ever
Right.
since really we did our Evil Dead trilogy review.
Okay.
And of course the Ash versus Evil Dead has been and gone. Season 1 is finished.
Yeah.
And I get asked almost every other day, and when are we going to talk about Ash versus Evil Dead? Are we going to review the whole show? Are we going to review each episode one by one?
Ooh.
Or should we just talk about it now and decide what to do with it a bit later on?
Well, I think we definitely end up reviewing the TV series when. Jesus.
How did you survive that?
Because I'm amazing. You know, when the episodes are out and everybody's watched it, I'm assuming everybody who's a fan of Evil Dead had already seen it.
I would think so by now. If not, why not?
Yeah, if not, why not? I mean, after watching it, Jesus Christ, will you stop putting tripwires all over the place? I mean, the one thing that annoys me is the fact that they've not kept in Army of Darkness.
Yeah, well, again, that's because of Universal Studios.
Yeah, we have our own issues with.
Yep.
But at the same time, I like the fact that they've managed to work around that.
Yeah.
You know, they've managed to still keep in all of the stuff we love about the normal series.
Yeah.
Oh, you fucker. I love the new additions that they're attempting to make with new characters.
And just opening up the storyline possibilities with the things that were introduced in the first two Evil Deads.
I really hope they manage to carry on and just let Bruce Campbell do what he does.
Yeah.
You know, don't try and make him into something that we know he already isn't. Don't. don't give him.
Well, the thing is that he now that Army of Darkness hasn't happened, Sam Raimi's kind of won in the fact that Ash in Army of Darkness turns into the hero,
yeah,
essentially. And that was Universal kind of shoehorning that in on top of him, whereas he always wanted Ash to be a douchebag.
yeah,
You know, the douchebag hero. And of course, you know, I don't want to go into major spoilers about the show right now in case anybody hasn't watched it yet, but he remains the douchebag hero throughout.
yeah. He is
All the way through his decision making throughout, and it's just wonderful. That's the character, you know, as it is. So Army of Darkness is still an awesome film.
Yeah,
But this is more true to the character of Ash now, I think. But it takes all the parts of that character from Army of Darkness too. You know, those traits of you know, his personality type, other than him actually being portrayed as the hero.
yeah. It works better to that aspect because you can change him further along down the lines. If he had stayed as the hero from Army of Darkness, we'd have just known that he was going to kick ass every time he got around to something.
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
now, you know, he makes the silly mistakes that we're like,
Yeah.
why did you do that for, you complete idiot? You know? Which really works. The special effects for the TV series are absolutely awesome.
Spoilers again. The cabin.
Oh,
They go
the-
to the
the
cabin.
cabin.
But I was only just saying this yesterday to someone. They painstakingly rebuilt that cabin.
That was amazing.
I mean, they did it
awesome.
for the remake, didn't they? For
Yeah.
Evil Dead. I mean,
Yeah.
that was almost true to its original, but this one for the TV show, even more so.
Even more so.
Nailed it.
The cabin in itself is a character, just like the book and the Deadites and everything like
Yeah.
that. The cabin itself is freaking evil.
So my prediction for the second season is going to include time travel.
Yeah, I'm feeling I'm not only time travel, but I think dimensional jumps as well.
Yeah, I think so.
I reckon that he'll go to a different universe where he exists or he doesn't exist, and he has to do something there. It'll just
Do you reckon he will actually ever meet the character now from the Evil Dead reboot movie? If that exists in a different universe?
I reckon they will. I reckon they might even drop him into one where there's a film based on the book. You know, and he's like, what are you doing making a film? Oh no, it's fine. And then they go to the film set and realize that the film set is, covered with Deadites.
Yeah.
And he has to cut his way through, and they film it, and it turns out to be one of the greatest films of all time. Don't steal that idea, but that's a cool idea. I need a close combat weapon.
Sounds like an idea for a video game.
yeah. I'm not taking the sniper down there because we're going close combat.
But yeah, the other thing that interests me, I mean, again, smallish spoilers for the show, but Lucy Lawless turns up.
Oh.
And she, of course.
Yummy.
Yes, absolutely. Lucretia.
Yeah.
And I've lost my trail of thought now. Anyway, so she turns up, and she pretends to be Professor Nobi's daughter.
Yeah.
And we already remember what happened to Professor Nobi's daughter in Evil Dead 2, because that's part of this story, right? So,
Yes,
did
she's-
Nobi have multiple daughters?
I think she's.
Or
supposed-
is Ruby just wearing Nobi's other daughter's skin?
that,
Or what's going on? Because it was never really covered. I'm thinking there's going to be a lot more backstory to the Nobi family coming up.
obviously not wanting to spoil it too much, but towards the end of the first episode, she turns out to be something else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She might be Nobi's daughter wearing another skin, or she might have been possessed by something. She has a very strong interest in the book.
Yeah.
And wants to control the book. Like I said, we'll have to wait for season 2. Do we?
Tunnels. Repeat. Coyote clear of tunnels. Napalm is
I can only imagine what would have happened to, in Evil Dead 2 if they'd all turned up to the cabin and Ash had not been there. If she'd turned up and what would they have done with the book? What would she have done with it? Because you saw how excited she was to have the pages, just like her father.
She'd have read it, but I think at the same time, she'd have had control over it. because she had those extra pages,
Yeah.
which were obviously taken out of the book for a specific reason.
Yeah.
You know, somebody really did not want that information falling into the hands.
Do you think we'll ever see a return of that character, even though she was killed?
What, of Annie?
Yeah.
We saw her in Hail to the King. She comes out the ground and tries to fucking kill you. You end up chopping her up.
Because we saw the remains of, what's he called? Not Bobba Joe, the hillbilly dude.
Yeah.
We saw his remains.
Yeah.
Again. So, I don't know.
It's just a lot. There's a lot of
There's
opening.
still-
There's a
there's
lot
so-
of stuff
so-
you can
yeah,
do. A lot of
yeah.
stuff you can do. You can either do completely original ideas.
Well, I
you
mean,
can
the
use-
first season had a ton of throwbacks to the first two movies, and
Yeah.
the third one included. And it's like, are they going to keep? How many more throwbacks can they do? Did they use them all up in the first season already?
No, you can never. They've got so many ideas from films that they haven't released
Yeah.
that they'd still like to do.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, obviously spoilers, but I mean, he dealt with his evil version,
Already, yeah.
but then has he really? Is there going
Yeah.
to be more coming back?
Well, I mean, did he really? Because he only really defeated his evil person in Army of Darkness.
Goddamn trap.
I mean, in the series,
Oh, okay, in the series,
the
yeah.
series,
Yeah.
a new one,
Yeah.
new version of him grew out
Grew
of
out.
his
His-
hand.
Yeah, well, his hand grew, and him.
Yeah, a new version, which he chopped up, but then we do know that it can come back.
Yeah.
You know, has Lucy Lawless taken those parts after Ash left? You know, it's
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the second season anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
they said they had enough stories to go for 5 seasons, and they said, and if we're still getting the ratings and the reviews,
Yeah.
we'll carry on for another 5 seasons. So it's like, wow. I don't know how they're going to cram another 9 years of storytelling,
yeah.
but they definitely need, I feel, they need to change the format slightly. The 20 to 30 minute episodes,
Yeah.
it's
It's nice. It's nice for a TV series.
Yeah.
Any longer you'll start to drag out and people start to get bored. Keep it this so that they know what they're getting to and then they're waiting for the next one.
Yeah.
To find out.
It just kind of feels like the sort of thing like a Saturday morning cartoon you'd have in front of your feature presentation in the cinema, you know?
Yeah,
But
well,
for
it's
adults.
it's supposed to, because obviously, you know, there are so many TV series at the moment. You don't want to oversaturate it. You know, people can easily watch Ash versus Evil Dead and then
Yeah.
go on to Game of Thrones, which is very serious. They can go
Yeah.
on to Walking Dead, which is very serious. They can go on to multiple of classic, great TV shows that are just too serious.
Yeah.
You know, you can only watch so many before you have to turn it off and be like, I can't watch it anymore because I'm starting to get depressed now.
Totally, yeah.
Where Ash of the Evil Dead, you can go 1 episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes, and every time it's funny as hell because you've got Ash.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Alright, just got some boom boom, and now I've successfully slept with every single woman in this village. Woo! Yeah! I've done Thai, I've done Mai. I haven't done Mama Sam because she owns the place.
Yeah.
I did.
You got paid top
I've
dollar.
done Chai, I've done Thai, Mai, and Chai. And there was another. Yeah, and Lin.
I was going to say, wait a minute, all these girls have 3 letters in their name. Is this just a...
You know, I'm not sure if I've done Lin, so I'm just to make sure, while
Coming
I'm
back for round 2.
just while I'm here. And you know, I just realised I've just gone through that whole mission. I didn't fire my rocket pistol once. I sniped, I used my machine gun because I was meant to use it. But I was in deep shit, you know, talking to you. And
I hope you're not going to get into deep shit right now.
no, I'm going to spend my money. I've slept with every woman in this village now. I'm going to procreate South Vietnam with my own Michael J. Fox gene.
Well, on that note, I just want to say thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with the next part next Saturday. In the meantime, our film reviews are up on Thursdays. Our video games on Fridays. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. All the links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.